The Just trying to see if we started. Yep. Okay. So we are live, and that is our first line. So yes, yeah. Trying out new systems, everybody. That's how the world works, right? You just do something new and plunge right into it. Which honestly brings us to what we're doing today. Is today I have Darya with us, who is going to be talking about her journey in tech and how she's found her path. And I find this really inspiring because honestly, Ari and I have actually really polar opposites ways into tech. And I think that's what's really important to show everybody is that there are multiple ways that you can get in this world. So, there's no prescriptive measure. And that is really just inspiring to everybody, not only just to us women, right? But anybody who is looking to get into technology and understanding that we have different paths is what encourages diversity in technology overall. So, with that spiel, hi, Daria, and welcome.
Hi. Uh, First of all, thanks for having me today. Yeah, and maybe I just will start, right? Okay. So indeed, my path in tech started maybe a long time ago. Yeah, when I realized that my my high school education wasn't enough for me. And so I was graduated with a major in tourism management. And yeah, quite a different field. And then I remember this moment. I just sat down and I thought, so, okay, now I'm graduated, and what's next? And what should I do? And I thought, okay, so I'm graduated in management. I like tourism. I like foreign languages. So maybe I should try being a manager in a company which does like translations, and that will be very interesting for me. So yeah, and I tried to, and I realized that it's kind of boring. Yeah, because it could be it could be nice if you just translate and you see you growing every day. But when you manage someone who translate, it's not so fascinating, indeed. So then I did some writing, and I also did some localization projects, like as a manager, because that was something that I knew to do. Uh, and then it was like my personal life period when I had my two daughters, and it was just a nice time to have a break and just think what what do I want to do in this life, in my career, because I realized that I wanted to do something new. And I just started to dig and to read and I don't know, to investigate things. And I thought, okay, what did I like to do? I liked to learn foreign languages, but there were no passion for a certain language. So I studied French, I studied Chinese, and all the things that I liked really in studying. I liked to see like the logic and the system of the language, and I just was mad with grammar and yeah, kind of nerd stuff. Uh, and I thought, so What if I combine something like language logic and something like math or like some computational stuff with language? And I found out that there was such a field like a natural language processing, but I did know nothing. I did know anything about it. So, and what is natural language processing? Like basically, if we take a broader picture, we will see that it's a part of data science. Uh, and I just at that moment, wow, data science. It was something big, something mystical at that moment for me. And I just decided to to dig in it. And I took courses, and back then I remember that there were like some temptations because there were already schools and boot camps which that offered like you will pay like much money to us, and we will find you a job and we will do everything. You just pay and you will just learn any stuff about like data science or something. And it was very temptational to to agree to them, but I decided to go just in my own way. And I found really good and almost free courses on Udemy, on I think on edX, on Coursera, and something like open platforms and for free, or even like for free for $10 or something. People really offered the good stuff here, and I learned a lot. And this didn't stop me. So as far as I was learning, I was wanted to learn more. So, and then I realized, wow, I it's it seemed like I found my passion. So it is something that I wanted to do, and I wanted to have a job related to it. And yeah, it is something that I will never be tired of doing it like every day. Um, so, and after this, at some point, I realized that, so okay, learning is good, it's okay, but I need to find a job. And what I did, it wasn't like a very easy task, because it is quite hard to transfer, especially when after you have a break, and to enter like a different field. So I just started to look for opportunities at my current place, because I did some like part-time writing and some like localization project. So I decided to join a team which was like calculating some numbers and providing some like maybe not some complicated but statistics about like performance. And uh, and i and I just used this opportunity to learn things, to apply my knowledge. And it was very useful, and it was very interesting, and most of all, it was like a real time experience,
Yeah.
because
And
yeah.
honestly, like you did something really smart because you didn't put a lot of your own money and your own investment into learning. You found tools. I mean, that's what the internet gives, is a lot of great tools and things for cheap. And then you found an opportunity where you work and pushed
Yeah.
yourself in. And, to get that first set of experience, which is, you know, speaks wonders, right? Having that first real world experience.
Yeah, yeah, and it is totally different from what you do during courses or like during your homework, because, well, it's not a scenario, and it's not a lab which you like can accomplish from start to end. So there is no proven solution. So yeah, it's a real world thing and a real world data with like that can be like dirty, very dirty, and even like completely awful, I would say. Yeah. So
Even all those examples that you ran across probably in the classes were how you clean data, and then you look at the actual real data and you're like, there's no cleaning this. Like at least that's my experience from going through
yeah, exactly. So you just sit down and you just think, okay, maybe maybe I could handle it. But when you deal with it and you realize, wow, I did a pretty good job, and like there were not such stuff during my learning. So I even learned a lot during this like real world exercise. And yeah, another stuff um, that I wanted to talk about is about like how to learn, because I find that it is not so straightforward. So as I already said, there's a lot of opportunities to learn nowadays, and it yeah it's very different, and you can pay a lot of money, you can pay no money. So how to choose and how not to be lost, because so even if we imagine so that for every each topic in your like tech stack there is only one course, but there are a lot of topics which you can learn. As for example, as a data scientist, you can learn like Python, you can learn R as a programming language. Yeah, you can learn different type of SQL languages, like you can learn some tools for big data. You can learn like cloud technologies, but cloud technologies, it's a really vast. Yeah, you can learn AWS, you can learn Azure, you can learn Google Cloud, or something even different. So yeah, how not to get lost? I personally found it very useful just to draw some kind of roadmap during your like journey, because frankly speaking, I didn't live learning even now, so I still learning, but I think we're all still learning. And and I just some I just use some kind tool of uh, I think it's Miro. Yeah, it's Miro, where I have like learning roadmap. I just put different branches and different categories of my learning. For example, like programming, like Python programming, uh, something related to AWS cloud, and like machine learning stuff on AWS. And when I just come across something, for example, scrolling LinkedIn feed, I see that someone is like highly recommending new book or new course. I I just okay, I will take it and I put on my roadmap. And when I see this book or course like one more time, okay, it's +1 to this course. So someone else, so like different people are recommending this. And yeah, and I just when I want to create my learning plan, for example, for this quarter or for this year, I just sit down and I just take a look at my roadmap and see. So I want to mix like different topics and different branches, and I see what stuff I have here and there. So, for example, I want to learn more about advanced Python programming. So, and I already have stuff that someone and somewhere in the past they recommended this stuff. So, and I have it here. So, uh, it's kind of maybe it's not like a structured data, that it's kind of semi-structured data, but for me it's really helpful to not get like
Right.
overwhelmed.
That's a lot better than my system of sticky notes. So I probably should start creating a roadmap. Which I have a question. If someone asking if they should go for I think the Azure DP100 cert for data scientists,
Mm-hmm.
and they're just wondering as a data analyst if they should go and get it.
It depends. I think so. If the like work is related to Azure, yeah, and there is a lot of like I would say like project or pet project in Azure, and just someone wants to learn more about it. Yeah, I think it would be beneficial and interesting to learn. But I would recommend not to earn certificate just to earn it,
Right.
because yeah, because just try to maybe get hands-on more, and during this like preparation do more labs, or even like have, if you have like your personal account, just to do something like personal, maybe small personal project on it. And yeah,
Which
so
which which works because if you create that project, you can put that project on your resume, and you can
yeah,
talk about that project that you did.
yeah,
If but I think don't collect certs just to collect certs, right?
yeah. It's it's maybe at some point it becoming like a very proven, a very safe path. So you learn, you earn certificate, and then you just repeat it. But the reality
I
is
mean,
more
actually,
complicated.
honestly, I we'll find out today because I am doing a certificate exam today, but I've avoided taking all certs. I've gotten every single one of my jobs without a cert, but it does help with making your resume a little more attractive. I
Yeah,
I
yeah,
have
yeah,
I have
definitely.
12 years of experience, so kind of like here's all this experience, and that's why the certs have not been as important. But where I work now, Capital One really loves their certs. And
Mhm.
that's why I'm like, well, if they really like certs, I'll give them what they want.
Kind of trade off, yeah.
The trade off, you're like, well, you're paying me, so doing it. Now that's now like permanently online, so they'll find out that I said that. She doesn't want the certs. What?
But speaking about certs, I would say that in my own experience, AWS exams are far more complicated than Microsoft exams. And yeah, and when I was preparing to AWS machine learning specialty, it was really difficult. And back then I didn't have a lot of experience on it. Yeah, but I try to prepare every day, at least do something on cloud every day and share my journey. Like I even joined like a challenge, like 66 days of data challenge, and I shared it, and then when I passed the certification, I just realized, so I don't have only like this certification and just a badge that I did something. I have like real experience because I've done a lot of things.
Awesome. Actually, which leads to like, and I'm going to get the hashtag completely wrong because I'm not that social media savvy. But what you're saying there, you joined something, you learned publicly, learn in public. I think that's the hashtag. I don't know.
Uh,
But
mhm.
public, which like in that motivator to continue learning, right? You did that 66 days, learn in public, uh,
Yeah,
not just learning in isolation, because now you get inspired by the community. And I think that actually that's something that's really helpful. And maybe you found it helpful is like, especially in this remote world, we can be really easily isolated. So if we start
Yeah.
talking and we get some cheerleaders along with us, that positive feedback loop keeps you going, right?
Yeah, exactly. And when I did this like 66 days challenge, I just shared because I committed to share, but maybe somewhere like 20 days later or something like this, people started like writing me and they asked me, and I also found people who did like the same challenge but for the quite different thing. But it was interesting to read what they did like during this time. And yeah, it's also a way to build a network and to communicate about like and meet people, because even if you work in rather or less big company, it could be complicated to find someone who is preparing exact for the same exam and exact for the same like on the same page with you, on the same stage with you. So it's great to find someone like on LinkedIn or like on different social media and just yeah, learn together.
That's awesome. I guess seeing what type of advice would you give someone who's really starting out with their path right now and getting into this world? Like what would be that's a really weird question now that I said it out loud. But what would be like that number one advice? You mentioned mentoring, not mentoring, networking, right? You mentioned
Mhm.
networking, and then we also were talking about like how to get the training for free,
Mhm.
and all that kind of gets overwhelming. So, like, what's that advice? Like, what would be your advice? Because you did it. You did it. You pivoted your career, and
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that like the main advice is to find your passion and something you really like to do and something you are really interested in, because yeah, honestly, there would be a lot of moments when you want just to quit and to stop learning. But if you are truly interested in what are you doing, you will continue. So yeah, you just find your passion, you just stick to it. And I really find that you shouldn't be like maybe very smart, but you should be very brave to continue. Yeah, because you know you know that you should be brave enough to like start your first own project on GitHub. You should be brave enough to go to interview and to fail it and then to go to another interview. Yeah, you should be brave enough when someone says so your code is completely mess and dirty, just rewrite it completely. So, but that's what people do. People learn. People are brave enough to speak foreign language or to drive a car. And when we started something, we were completely like not very good at it. But yeah, find your passion, stick to it, and be brave. I think so.
I I think that is beautiful advice. Be it is be brave and be willing to put yourself out there, and then you're going to continue. You're going to continue learning, and yeah, that's really inspirational.
Yeah, thank you. And I think that like another like not the main advice, but like small advice is to compare. Yeah, I think a lot of people already said it, but it's always good to repeat. Compare you only with yourself, because yeah, there are a lot of people and it could be overwhelming because you compare you with all the rest world. So you see that people are getting certificates, they are like building new projects, they are like doing like blog posts, mentoring, and all kinds of activities, but just focus on what you're doing and remember that you achieved a lot. So, yeah.
Awesome. I have dropped into the chat for our viewers here, and we do have two, so I think that they're going to win. So an entry form for the prizes, and please, fill it out so that you get the chance to win a gift card or a mentoring session. And honestly, thank you all for showing up, and thank you for your journey. Is there anything you want to say other than all the amazing inspiration that you've already given?
I am not sure. I can talk for ages, I think.
I think that's something I'm guilty of too, like trying to hold myself back. I just want to say this is really what's important, because I have a lot of people that reach out to me that are looking. I just actually had someone at my job reach out to me who's looking to change from being someone who works in banking to getting into tech, and it's that task and that change in your career, especially when you have kids, it's really daunting, and you're not sure if you're making the right choice, and seeing that yes, you can change, and those obstacles and those moments that maybe someone would use as an excuse to hold you back, that's meaningless. You don't even need it. And like you said, you be brave, be willing to jump in, and willing to willing to grow, because that's how you're going to get there. And finding a community to work with, support you, and help you grow. So
community is very important, because people that will support you and will help you, and it's amazing. It's amazing seeing to grow, to learn, to share, and to see someone grow.
Yes. So thank you again. It's a global world, so it's evening for you and daytime for me, and it's that's what the fun about it is. But thank you again for coming, and I hope that everybody else, you got inspired for a way of how you can find your path in this world of tech. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you.